Hey, so I haven't posted a video in a while. I haven't recorded a video in a while neither. But today I wanted to come back on here just to give some updates or just brain dump. I decided that I'm not going to post my videos on my social media like my Facebook or my Instagram or TikTok because the purpose of me doing this was for me just to like speak freely and um, I guess genuinely meet people, like not let it be forced. So with saying that, I mean like I was posting videos on my social media to direct people to my YouTube page. And the intention that I had behind it was I'm just going to speak freely. But then when I was like, well, shit, I'm going to be posting on my Facebook, people on my Facebook knows who I'm attached to, like my relationship or my family. So then I started feeling guilty because I'm like, well, I started having anxiety about it because I was like, well, my God, now they really gonna hear everything, and then they're only gonna listen to little bits and pieces and not the full thing, and then they're not going to actually watch the video, and then they're gonna just feel some kind of way. So I was just really overthinking it, and I was like, I'm not doing this. And then the second thing was I bought like a few things. I bought a what's those little ring lights with the stand, and I bought the little mics to put on my shirt to talk. I haven't used it, and I was like, this is a waste of money because I'm not using it because I wasn't posting or recording. And first of all, anybody who is doing this social media content creating, kudos to y'all, because I just thought I'd get a camera, record myself, go on my phone, upload it. I didn't think about nothing about editing, lighting, like trying to get the correct audience. I didn't think about any of that. So when I was like, oh, this shit is time consuming, I don't want to do this, because I was recording on my phone and I started losing data on my phone or space on my phone because I was recording so many videos. So my partner told me, he was like, Ash, maybe you should try recording a video and then breaking it down like 30 seconds of it and posting it on your social media so then you can direct them to your YouTube. I'm like, yeah, that was a good idea. But it would have been a better idea if I found like a different way of doing it outside of having like, I want it to be organic, I don't want it to be forced. I don't want to be constantly pushing for people to go to my YouTube page to go view a video, share a video. I just want somebody to come across it and be like, oh, I can connect with her, or I can see what she's going through, or she's making some sense on this. But if this may just be a what's the phrase? A video diary for me. So like as the time goes on, I can look back on it and hopefully see some growth. Hopefully see if anything has changed in a positive way, or just what my life has been since the last video. So since my last video, I know I mentioned one of my videos that I applied for a position that I didn't think I was qualified for, and I actually got the job. So that was a win. So I'm working with that job now. I really enjoy it. It's crazy because it's been a while since I felt of some kind of use with my job. Like I feel like I'm doing something, I'm actually being productive and not making many mistakes or questioning every single move I make. I feel more confident in my position, actually, so I like that. So yeah, that's where it's at right now. um, let's see. So let's talk about within this past week. So right now it's July 31st. So let's say from July 24th till now, I had some breakthroughs. I've expressed that um, therapy has been very beneficial for me because there are a lot of things that um, I thought was one way, but then I'm actually seeing it differently, and it's really helped me. So um, I do notice changes in myself. I'm not making excuses for anybody. I'm also trying to take steps and giving myself grace. And I'm also trying to recognize the, I don't want to say toxic, but you could say toxic traits that I do have. I don't want to keep using the word trauma because I feel like as of 2024, 2023, the word trauma is being used so casually when it's a serious matter. But I think people just use the word trauma now as just like any excuse for their actions. And it may be trauma related, it could be, but I just feel like I don't want to use that word so frequently right now. So, what was it? So, what happened over the weekend? I have a friend that I talk to on Snapchat. I'm able to record and just send videos, just to talk to my friend because I feel like we're going through some similar things, and we both have stuff we're dealing with. So, one of my breakthroughs I had over the weekend was that I love out of fear. I love hard. I love people. I love my family. I love my partner. But I noticed that I love out of fear when it comes to men in general, but when it comes to people as a whole. The three main men in my life growing up was like my father, my stepfather, and my uncle. One of my uncles. They all played a father figure. You're always told that a man is supposed to show a young lady or his daughter what how a man should treat a woman, and what kind of man you should look for when you enter the world of dating and ready to settle down. And a man should also teach their son or be a role model to their son of, life, of just like, what a man should be and how to treat a lady and, responsibilities and stuff like that. And then vice versa for a woman. A woman, when you have kids, you're supposed to be a reflection of the kind of woman your daughter should be growing up. Or how to carry themselves, how to take care of themselves, what to do. Because I know, like, in some other cultures, I think it's like, some other cultures, they teach young women, they start teaching you how to be a wife growing up, like doing a whole housekeeping thing, because the man typically in these other cultures are the men who will be the leader of the household and be the head of the household and lead and take care of everything, and then the woman takes care of the kids in the house. Well, 2024, life is not like that right now, where most people are in a two-income household or single-parent household. Well, my mom, love my mom to death, was like my hero. But my mom and my aunt, they both were single parents. My mom and my aunt always taught us how to take care of yourself, take care of home, how to budget, work your money around, stuff like that. So I noticed that. So but back to the men in my life, my dad, my stepdad, my uncle. Their examples they showed me was that no man is going to be permanent in your life. So like my dad, I saw my dad maybe 3 or 4 times out of the year. And I only had a way of contacting my dad was through a pager or contacting my grandfather to get in touch with him. My dad was more involved with my 2 older brothers, one because he was married to their mother. And then my younger brother, me and him were like 9 months apart. 9 or 6 months apart. I forgot the math, whatever. But my dad was really involved with him, with his son, and then his son had a sister, so he was involved with her. So my dad was not involved in my life. Growing up, I knew who he was. I used to look forward to seeing him. When I did see him, times that he would say he was coming, he never showed, never gave me a phone call. I would be calling him, but he wouldn't be answering the phone. And then I hear from him the next day with an excuse. My stepdad, that's a sticky situation because my stepdad wasn't my stepdad until I was like 23, I think. But my stepdad was in my life from age 2 till now. But he wasn't, there was things behind the scenes that didn't allow him to be as involved. He was involved, like he was involved financially, like helping my mom with tuition and being there for her. But it wasn't, I looked at it, he wasn't doing it for me. He was doing it for my mom, because you were dating my mom, you were trying to help my mom. My stepdad and I never really had that father-daughter relationship. Like, we don't have the father-daughter emotional relationship. My uncle, who was my cousin's dad, my uncle was the one who was there for me emotionally. Like, out of all 3, if something happened and I needed a man to talk to, I would go to my uncle. I still try to take steps back because he has other kids, so I try not to hog him to myself because, he has other kids to take care of who needs him. But my uncle, he calls me his daughter. He was like, "You are my kid. I don't hear nobody say." He said, "You're mine." So, but even then, my uncle showed me that, yeah, you're his kid, but when he dates a woman, that woman becomes a priority over you. And when she has her own kids, they become a priority over you. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just telling you what I saw as a child and what your actions showed me that has affected me as an adult now. So, back to what I was saying, the men in my life have showed me that they're not going to be consistent with you. They're not going to be reliable to you. They're not going to be there for you emotionally. They're not going to be there for you. They're going to come and go. They're going to treat you like a revolving door. So as far as my relationships goes, and so my mom showed me, how to take care of myself. My mother never pushed me to go to college. I didn't really care for school in the first place. When I graduated, I was like, I'm done. Don't show me the book lessons. I tried to go to college a few times. After that, I just did not like it. But my mom showed me how to be a survivor, and she taught me. She was like, I don't care what you decide to do with yourself as an adult. I just want you said, I just hope that you find a job or find a career that can support you and you can take care of yourself so that you won't depend on anybody. So I feel like, in a sense, that I have always been in survivor mode, to where it's like, I always have to work. If I have anxiety behind that, because I feel like while there's other jobs, like if you lose one job, go to the next job and keep going. But I work really hard because I feel like if I slow down or I stop, I'm not going to be taken care of, or I'm going to be SOL. And that's actually not true. Well, in a way it's true, in a way it's not true, because I have a whole partner who is there for me. but I have a hard time leaning on them because in my head it's like, when you leave, I gotta take care. I gotta be able to stand on my own 2 feet. It's always like, when you leave, when you leave, when you leave. So I understand now that I have an abandonment issue. I understand that, I have a codependency issue, and I have a thing with survival. I'm gonna say survival mode. I don't know what it is, but I realized that when it comes to men in my life, I try to overexert myself because I feel that if I'm that circus seal bouncing the ball on my nose or bringing you the moon and the stars on a platinum platter, you won't leave. Because I made a comment before, and I was like, why do y'all always make it so easy to leave me? And with that, I was like, I realized what I was saying. I was like, my dad could come and go. My uncles, came and went. He was more frequently there than my dad was, of course. But I was like, y'all make it so easy to leave us. And then it came to men. It trickled down to the men I dated. Like, I have had, I take accountability in all of it because I still chose to date these men. I still chose to stay with these men until they left. I think I had like 2 situations where I actually left because I wasn't emotionally tied to them. It was more so I landed myself in some toxic situations and I had to get myself out of it. And it was easier to leave because I wasn't in an actual relationship. I didn't have any emotional connection with them or any ties to them. I just up and left. But yeah, so I noticed that I left out of fear. So I feel like if I overexert myself again, if I try to be the yes man, be the never speak my opinion, never voice myself, if I do all the right things, then you won't have a reason to leave me. You will want to stay. And in the end, it doesn't work out like that. So that was one of my breakthroughs I had over the weekend. And so I told my partner before, I said, I do love you. I love you with all my heart. I just feel that I haven't loved you in a healthy way. Like, yes, I still have things like where we both have to have work done because I think my partner, his issue is he just wants to do his own thing and not always be with his woman. He wants to be able to do his own guy thing. And then I feel like sometimes it worked better when we weren't living together, because I was doing my own thing. But then when we got back together, we instantly just like moved in with each other again. It picked up like nothing has happened, and I don't think we did it a smart way. So I think like right now it's more like we gotta break the nose in order to fix it. That's from like a movie I watched a long time ago called Hope Springs. This older couple, they've been together for so long, but they just fell into this rut, and they were like walking on eggshells around each other because neither one was happy. But the love is there, but you're not happy. And the therapist that they saw in there, he was like, you're like a fractured nose. He was like, you're not broken, but you're fractured. And for me to fix it, we gotta break it in order to fix the nose. And I get it. I get it now. Because if you're constantly working on eggshells because you're scared of what's gonna happen, there's gonna be a lot of issues that's gonna be unresolved that you can't fix. And I think that's the place where I'm at right now, because I have grown within the past year with my therapy, because I've been more aware of my needs. Because at one point, all I was like, as long as my partner is happy, I'm happy. And it was like, okay, but you're also a part of this relationship too. So you got to be happy too, and you got to speak up what you're not happy about and try to fix it. And I was like, well, I don't want to do that because, what if they leave me? Well, what if they don't? What if they don't leave you? Or what if they do leave you and you find somebody who's amazing, who can give you everything you want and need, I admitted that I don't make shit. So the other breakthrough I realized is that I don't trust myself. I ask everybody for their opinion before I make a decision because I want to make sure I make the best decision. Well, doing so, I'm always focused on what they said. And then it's like, well, if I don't take their opinion, they're going to be mad at me. So what? Like, it's life. Like, because at the end of the day, any decision that I make is going to affect me, not my family. They may deal with the traces of it. Like, if I die or something like that, they'll be hurt and then they'll continue with their life. But I meant, like, if I make a decision, like, I want to buy a house. Well, if I buy a house and I can't afford it or whatever else, it's not going to affect them. It's going to be me. If I if I get married, well, it's not going to affect you. It's going to affect me. It's going to affect, because it's my life. And I have to realize that the decisions that I'm going to be making, I can't worry about who's it going to affect unless they're tied to me like a partner or a child of mine. But my decisions has to be made what's best for me, because at the end of the day, it's going to affect Ashley. And Ashley's going to be the one to pick up the pieces and fix it and move on and deal with it, so on. But my therapist asked me, she was like, do you think that your current relationship is the best it's going to be? And I had a hard time answering that question because I think the fact is that one of the things is that this partner I'm with now has been the only partner I've had an actual serious relationship with. Like, we were together years ago, and that was like the first person I lived with. We shared stuff, but that situation back then was not a good situation between us. We actually took time and we were actually friends after that breakup, to where I was actually able to see him. And I could say, like, yeah, the things you did back then was not cool. And the things I did back then wasn't cool either, because I was just trying to give you whatever you wanted and not speak my opinion about how I felt. So I realized that. And then, so the time we were apart, we were just actually friends. We would talk every now and then, closer to the time that we got together, we were talking more frequently, more often, daily, throughout the day. That was like the consistent man. So part of me feel like I had placed him on his pedestal, to where I fell in love with the idea and the things in my head that I was almost blinded by who the person really is in front of me. Not saying the person is bad or anything. He's not. He's a good guy. I just think that when I say love you in a healthy way, I need to take a step back and almost like get to know you again, because people are going to be constantly changing. I think it was Pastor Mike Todd. He said a way, like a secret to a long, healthy marriage is willing to relearn your partner every 6 months, because you're going to be going through something. Like, I didn't think I would be where I am right now without my therapy. Like, I'm changing. So I'm not a bad person, but I'm also not the same person I was last year. And vice versa. Like, you may have gone through something that could have changed you and changed your outlook, to where we just need to check in. Like, hey, these are the changes that's going on. Let's, we have to relearn each other. And I think that's where I'm at right now. I need to take a step back, because he's been at a pedestal to where I'm like, he can't do no wrong. And almost like I'm not making him a real person. And it's not fair to him or fair to me, because if he makes a mistake, I'm probably more harder on him because he's not meeting the person I built up in my head about. So, like I said, loving out of fear. Like, I feel like, what's the word? I'm looking for the word. I'm not going to edit anything. For now on, from all my videos, I'm going to record it, put it on my YouTube, and keep it moving. I'm not recording anything. I'm not editing anything. This is going to be for me, and whoever sees it, it can see it, like it, share it, do you. What makes you happy. But I need to try to change the way I love. Like, I can love you, and when you go out with your friends and kick it and doing that, I can relax knowing that, okay, he's going to come back. I can't keep anybody in a box. I can't keep nobody in a cage. And I feel like as much as I was trying not to be that person, I was also being that person. And I hate that about me, knowing that that's how I could have been treating my partner. And it's like, because the tighter you hold on to something, you're going to want to go. And I need to learn to step back. So, but it's just triggers. So I know it's triggers, like people are leaving me. So another thing is that, I was saying before about I don't trust myself with men. I have made horrible choices in men. Like, when I say by the grace of God, I am still covered, because the situations I put myself in, and I'm gonna be real, from the time, I could say from age 14 till 35. I'm 35 now. Well, no, because let's scratch that. I'm gonna say 14 to 27 is years of horrible decision making. Like, thank God that I am covered, not in nobody's body bag, not in nobody's grave, not on a missing board. I'm so grateful that I have been covered. So my grandmother's prayers must have covered me good, because the things that I did to myself and allowed to be done to me, just because I was just trying to feel wanted, I put myself through so much, and I don't trust myself now. So when she asked me, she said, "Do you think it's going to get between you and him, or do you think there's somebody else better out there?" Well, I think there's always somebody out there who's going to love you, and and I saw a video that said you haven't met everybody who's going to love you. So I feel like there are people out there who's going to love you, who you could be with. That's how people have multiple marriages. When one spouse dies, they move on to somebody else, or when you divorce, you move on to somebody else. You can love more than one person at the same time. I believe that. I don't trust myself to go back in the dating world. I have made many bad decisions, like I said. And I feel like I've been blessed to be where I am now. So it's almost like I don't want to risk anything. Like, I'd rather put all the work I can into myself, into my partner, rather than calling it quits and moving on to somebody else. I don't think that's where I'm at right now in my life. Like I said, my experiences with men, I have had men who have stolen money from me. Not a man, but men. I have gone in debt doing like payday loans, because I was trying to give them what they needed. They were always calling me about money, or they wanted some money, or they needed some money. I remember this one point, this one guy I was seeing, he called me at my job, and he was like, I don't know if he was with people in the background, so he was trying to act big in front of them. But he was like, "I need some money for this right here," and he was like, "Make it happen," and hung up on me. And we got in an argument about that, but then eventually I ended up making it happen. And it's like cringing to think about the things that I did back then. But like I said, I went into debt with payday loans. I went where guys have taken my car, had women in my car. I've also done dumb shit like where I was dating somebody and he got a girl pregnant before me and him started dating. So while she was pregnant, I found out that she was pregnant. I was okay with it because I'm like, it was before me, but I didn't know they were still dating. So I was a dumb one who didn't see it. They were still dating, but I didn't know that. And apparently, after all this went down, I found that I was the one where they said take one for the team, because of all the things that I would do for somebody. They were like, okay, we can just stick it out with her. We can get what we want, and then we can go. So at that time, he was like, she got evicted and she was pregnant, and he was like, I can't have her live on the street, so she's gonna move in with me. And I was like, all right, I don't want her to be evicted either, be ass out on the street. So okay, let's move her into your house. I was dumb. I was there like when they used my car to load up the stuff to bring to his house. I was also dumb enough to use my paychecks to buy the baby stuff before she was even born. I was blind. I was dumb. In a way, I said I was trying to help. Because when it comes to kids, I'm always going to help kids. I don't care how me and you are one-on-one, but if it's a child involved, I will do anything I can to help a child. So, yeah, I was a dumb one. And, that was a mess. But, let's see. So I said men who stole and men who used it for money. I remember this one guy I was dating fresh out of high school. And he was an older guy too, but we used to hang out and chill. And one day he was like, he was at my apartment with me, and he left. And when he left, he gave me this weird hug. He was like, "I love you." He was like, "I do love you." And then I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's sweet." But then later on that afternoon, something didn't feel right, and I was looking for my wallet, and I was like, where's my wallet at? And something said, check your account. Checked my account. My account was over $150 overdrawn. And when I said, okay, so I'm like, all right, so my card was stolen. So my card was in my wallet. So my wallet was gone. He stole my wallet with my graduation money, child support money from my dad, and my paycheck that I just got paid. So he stole everything. And that was embarrassing to tell my mother, like, I need to go press charges. I need to go to the police station. And, this is what happened. So we had that. There was a time where I was like around 25, I think. I moved to Vegas. And Vegas, that experience was not a good experience. I ended up losing my home. And I couldn't talk to my family about what was going on because it involved like my mother and my stepdad. And, that was their privacy. So I couldn't speak up and say what's going on. Hey, we need help. And my family, can be judgy and can cross lines of not being respectful of others' decisions. It comes from a good place, but you also negatively affect somebody else. Like, you don't think about what you're saying is going to affect somebody else. All you think about is that you want to get your rage out, but then you don't think about the aftermath and who is going to have to deal with that. So I understand my mother not wanting to say anything to anybody about it, but at the same time, you keeping quiet for your marriage was also affecting me. And so I had one person that I would talk to about what's going on, and I was like, I lost my place. And he was like, come back home to Cleveland. I got you. He was like, I'm gonna look out for you. We'll look out for each other. well, I was like, well, I'm not leaving my mother in the situation. So once they got themselves together and was okay, that's when I moved back to Cleveland. And I really wish that I would have just stuck it out a little bit longer in Vegas, because things had turned around within like 3 months. So I wish I would have stuck it out longer. But I was scared. I ran, and I was trying to, in my head, was like trying to work hard to send money to my mom to make sure she was good. And that was going to end up coming back to Vegas. Well, when I got to Cleveland with this person, got back to Cleveland, I had a job lined up for me. I was going to start within like the following month. Almost instantly, the part where Ash, I'm gonna look out for you and I got you, it turned out to be something different. It was, Ashley is going to look out for you and Ashley is going to take care of you, because that's what it came out to be. It was almost within like the following month, I was taking the rent, putting groceries in the house, and then I think by that fall, that because I moved in like around October, yeah. So by December and January, I was covering everything, and stuff went downhill with that. That was a toxic situation. That was someone that I had to like leave. I'm like, that's who stole money from me. I gave money for rent, and then like a few weeks later, I saw the eviction notice on the door, because they took the money to go somewhere else and didn't pay the rent. And I remember it was like a Thursday, and I instantly was like, okay, that was it for me. And I immediately started looking for apartments. And so by that Sunday, I was touring apartments, and then by that following week, I was signing my lease. And luckily, my mother and my stepdad had flown into Cleveland, and I told them what was going on, and they were there for like a week, and I ended up just packing up my stuff and just staying with them at the hotel for a week until I could move to my apartment. Move on to the next guy. My apartment wasn't really set up, and I wasn't really comfortable being in my apartment by myself, so I was talking to this one guy, and when I say rock bottom, like rock meets bottom type, but at a few more levels below, that is how low I went. This person was toxic from the beginning to the end, and it was like I stuck it out, and I dealt with so much just because I didn't want to be by myself. And it was like when I say rock meets bottom, I was dug a few feet lower than that. I was like right above hell. Like I could feel the flames of hell on my ass, type low. And I remember talking to my cousin one day. I was like, I'm just trying to hold out until my mom comes in Friday, because my cousin was moving to Texas back then, and my mom was coming in to hang out with her, to keep her company and to help her pack up for Texas. And then when she came back from my cousin, she was going to come and swing by and pick me up, because we were going to drive to Vegas, because I moved back to Vegas. So the plan was, I'm like, okay, with this guy, I'm just going to stick it out and deal with him until Friday, because she comes home Friday. So I'll be good once my mother touched into Cleveland. Like, my mother was like my saving grace, and she was the person who was my peace. So it was like, okay, once my mom gets here, I'm good. I ain't got to deal with nobody else. And my cousin was like, you gonna snap. And I was like, I'm trying to hold it together. I was like, I'm trying to hold it together because I just need to hold it to Friday. So I think it was a Tuesday or it was a Wednesday, because it was a Tuesday because me and her went out to eat, and I took her home and I went over to his house. And that was the same day. So I got there, it was just downhill, and he said something to me that made me snap. And I try to avoid confrontation with people, because I know that when I get to a certain place, I cannot control what happens afterwards. So because I know that I bottle so much stuff up in me, which is also a toxic thing. I bottle stuff up and I try to be the nice one and let things fly. Well, sometimes with me is if you push that right button at the right time, you're gonna get a different side of me. And when she comes out, I cannot control it. I try to express it as, not saying that I'm crazy, but split with the guy who had multiple personalities. And they're always like, the beast is coming, the beast is coming. Well, I feel like and there's a part of me that has a cage, and this is a part of me who is in there who is like right in the cage, like let me out type deal. And when she comes out, it takes a lot to put her back in and for me to come back and be myself. I hope that it sounds like I'm crazy, but that's just the best way I can try to express it. Is that there is something in me that is like will peel my skin back to come out, tear shit down, and then go back in and go to sleep. And it's like you don't want to awaken that part in me. So with me taking this constant trash from him for months, it wasn't that long. It was like literally from about 2 to 3 months of it. But with the prior 6 months of dealing with this other guy, it was like it was just all bottled up in me. And when he finally said what he said to me, it was like I lost it. I snapped. I said some hurtful things. Do I regret it? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Because I feel like when these reactions come out of me, it's because I have taken too much and taken more than enough, and that person is like a person inside of me that's trying to protect me. She comes out and be like, okay, we're not taking it anymore, and this is it. And that's what it felt like. So I ended up snapping and I ended up getting my stuff and I left. And those 3 days in my apartment by myself was like actually peaceful. But then my cousin actually ended up staying with me for a few days. So like I said, it's just a constant thing. I know I went on a little rant about it, but it was just the fact that I don't trust myself with these guys. And then I watch like true crime stories now, and the ID channel, and then Snapped, and it's just all these stories about how these men and women to kill their partners, and they will you in with a charm, and then you end up getting yourself trapped in a situation, and then one way you can get out is either you die or you kill yourself or you kill them. And I'm not like that. That part is not gonna be me. But I'm just realizing so much stuff within my therapy, just my breakthroughs I've been having. One of my other breakthroughs I found out is that I use work as a defense mechanism. So because work has always been the thing that I can do. Like I think like my grandma, she'll say like one thing about Ashcan, she'll find a job. Because I'll find a job and I'll work it until I find something better. But I think that's become a personality of mine, but it's also become like a defense because people always say, Ashley, you should get out more, you should go do these things. And I was always like, well, I gotta work. Or if I'm spending money for this, I should be working. I could be making the money, to do more. So work has become my defense mechanism because I feel like it protects me. One, it literally protects me because I'm going to have an income coming in. I'm going to be okay. But then it protects me from not having to go out into the world to be around people. I also noticed that since working remote, I have become like I love working. I love being around people. I like people. I'm a people person. But since finding out that I am codependent and started noticing all these traits I've made, I've played these games or routine things. I don't trust myself around people, because now I'm questioning, like, well, am I with these people because I just don't want to be by myself? Do I really like these people? Do they like me? Am I just being too much? Am I talking too much? Not enough? Am I being black enough? Am I being white enough? Because, that's another thing. Majority of the people I have worked with, I've always been the middle. Either you're not hood enough, you're not black enough, or you talk too proper, you talk too this, you're too nice, you're not combative enough, you're not angry enough, you're not loud enough, you're not quiet enough. It was always like, you're not, you're not, you're not. Or you're too, you're too, you're too. Like, you're too much of one thing to be the other thing. So I've always been in a weird space, because I feel like when it came to the black community, to be around black women, I feel like, am I not loud enough? Am I not, pretty enough? If I'm not, like, wearing the same, like, it was just like, I always felt like I wasn't enough. But then I was also raised in a predominantly white school. For a majority of my years in school, I was in a white school. But in other professions I've had, I've been around a lot of white women, white staff. I don't have any issue with white, black, purple, blue, green, yellow. Me personally, I have no issue with any race. I think it's the individual that you have the issue with, because I don't think all white people are against black people. I don't think all black people are against white people. I'm not that person. I'm not trying to go to war with white versus black. That's not me. I feel like it's an individual thing, not a group thing. And that's just me. I'm not going to argue with anybody. Take it how you want it. But when it comes to work-related friendships, most of my friendships I've had has been work-related. So I built relationships with people at work, and then I ended up carrying it out of work. But when I say work has become a defense mechanism, and I don't trust myself around people. Okay, so let's just scratch that. For a better example, my therapist told me a few weeks ago, we need to find you something to focus on that cannot say, I'm leaving you. So again, that's how I put two and two together. Like, I got an abandonment issue. I have codependency issue. I have these trust issues, because they end up leaving me. So let's start with this. My mom was my center of my life. She was a center. She was everything to me. It was always my mother and me, always. When she died, yes, of course she didn't choose to die. That wasn't her choice. I think she had a choice. She would have said, I want to stay here. But when she died, it was like, you left me. And then when she died, my focus shifted over to work. And then work was like, all of my people there was like my friends I grown to love. I was always at work. On my off days, I was at work. I would stay late. I would come in early. I would come throughout the day to show up. I would call them and say, hey guys, what you doing? My life focused on work and people. And then when I left that company, because I got a promotion and I went to back to Cleveland with my boyfriend, my shift focused from them to him and work. And then the other thing, was like, everything was just like shifting my focus to people. Like, I started feeling like my people in Kentucky at my old job abandoned me, because I was like, oh, well, because I'm not there, I don't really hear from y'all. Like, we talked about, we used to talk back then. But then I realized, like, one, we all got lives. Two, it was like, I'm no longer in the office, so all that frequency that we, the frequent conversations and stuff like that was happening was at work. so I felt like, you know, it was kind of abandonment. Like, I was making the effort of coming down to visit, and then I would feel some kind of way because I was like, you know, they got the only thing they're doing. I'm like, okay, was it really just me being here and being at work? Because it was like it quickly fizzled out, and then, you know, again, it went to me and my partner. So that's when I was noticing that I shift my focus around people, and then that again comes with, why are you leaving me? If I do all these things, you're gonna be leaving me. So since working remote, I haven't been around people that much. And then, like, shortly after I was working remote, I moved down to Texas, to where you know, my cousin is here, but she has her own life, and I don't want to be like that annoying little cousin or annoying little sister who's trying just to be her cousin's shadow. So I kind of like distance myself, because again, I'm overthinking everything. I'm overthinking, like, am I going to be annoying to her? Am I going to be, you know, their shadow, their tag along? You know, am I going to try to create their personality over my personality? So when I say that I don't trust myself, I don't trust myself around people or with people with certain decisions. I don't trust myself. So yeah, that was one of the breakthroughs I had. So I was like, no, work has always been my defense mechanism, because it prevents me from putting myself out there, because I'm always like, oh, I gotta work, I gotta clean, I gotta do this, because I don't want to be around people, because I don't trust being around people. I feel like I can't relax to just be me and then see what happens. The other thing what was the other thing I realized? Those were really like my breakthroughs I had this past week. Was just like, I want to try to find out who Ashley is outside of excuse my allergies. I want to try to figure out who Ashley is that does not revolve around being a girlfriend, a daughter, a niece, a cousin. I want to see what's out there for me. What hobbies do I have? Like, you know, I do like to do blinging. And I was trying to start a side job doing that, but I'm like, I don't want to, because I don't want the pressure of, I got to keep doing it. You know, if I don't want to do it, if I'm not in the mood, I don't want to do it. And I don't want to have the obligation to other people, okay, like, I have to do it, because now it's not a hobby to me anymore, because I'm just like, oh, I have to do this for people. So it's just more so I just feel like doing it when I do it. So I definitely don't want to make a career out of blinging. Maybe I will in the future, but I just want to do it because I genuinely like to do it. But there's other things I'm going to try doing. Like, I've been feeling really creative within the past year. Like, I want to paint. I want to try some pole dancing. You know, maybe that will help with my confidence, you know. I know that I hate the gym, but when I walk, I enjoy walking, because I feel like I can clear my head a little bit, or it's just, I'm able to zone out when I'm walking. Yeah, so those are the few things that my breakthroughs came over the past week. I was going to try to keep it under an hour, but I'm just going to keep recording and then posting, because again, this may just turn out to be my video for myself. And again, if someone else out there sees it, feel free to join in and chat with me. But if not, if this just becomes an Ashley diary or road to a better me, I can do that. Because I mean, I don't want the obligation of posting every single week, once a week, if I don't feel like it. And that's where I'm at right now. If I don't want to, I'm not going to. So I just felt the need. I didn't feel the need, but I wanted to post the video just so I could try to dump what's in my head and go from there. So if anybody is listening, I appreciate y'all sticking around to hear me yammer. But yeah, that's about it for right now.